Testing, testing. One, two, three. How y'all doing, family? Let's see how that sound. I appreciate everybody that's joining me tonight. How you doing, family? I'm about to break down some stuff today. The last video I did it on Facebook, and I did it. I kind of pre-recorded it and did it, but it's the superhuman, the story of the Australian Aborigines. And a lot of the times in the Aborigine community, when they start talking about the Australian Aborigines, you research that real quick and you just be like, hell nah, we ain't got nothing to do with them people. That's sad what they went through, but we don't have nothing to do with it. And in this video, I just kind of dug a little deep into some of the similarities that we had with these people. And when I started to research it, it was amazing. It was amazing. These people unbelievable. They're like superhuman. The way they over there just pulling the alligators out the water. I mean, they just swimming and they holding their breath 30 minutes. I mean, these people are incredible people. They're ancient people. And their story is just unheard of, untalked about. No one talks about it. It's almost as if they're invisible. And in my last video, I mentioned, one of the reasons why I decided to make this video is because, watching different videos of these Aborigines, I realized they had asked one of them one time, and they said, well, what is one thing that you would change about Torres Strait if you could? And the only thing she can think of is that the fact that they're invisible and that nobody in the world knows about them. Now I see them, they'll be wearing Chicago Bulls hats, and they're very fond of Black American culture. So they know of us, but we don't really know about them. We got what they used to come on, Rescue Rangers. It was a little cartoon, and it took place in Australia, and then we had the crocodile hunter. But all my life I was really just taught that Australia was just a bunch of woods, and they just had like a few white people crazy enough to live out there with all those different animals and different things. And I pretty much, that's what most Americans was taught, not just Black Americans, but that's what most Americans was taught. But when I looked into the Australian world, oh, it's eerie. It parallels the situation that we have here in the US, just with racism, black people, the fight. They had a civil rights movement in 1964, just like we did over here in America, and it was inspired by the blacks in America, but we never knew about it. We never knew about it. They had their own little Martin Luther King dude named Moby, something like that, M-O-B-O, Moby. But anyway, he was like their Martin Luther King over there, and he fought for them to be able to ride on buses and eat at restaurants. I mean, it's just identical. It's so identical to, you don't know if they set it all up. It just looked like it's all set up for things to happen identical on two different sides of the planet at the same time. It's just eerie. It's a lot more than that. And I got tons of clips and video clips and stuff that kind of back it up. So, I want to start by unpacking some of these videos that's coming out. Let's unpack the Lucille. They say she was Australasian. They say she was Australoid. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. I apologize. But we can start by unpacking Lucia. You know, they say she was a Strelord. And we can also start by unpacking that thumbnail that you saw in this video as well. Why did they have the American listed as an Astrolord? You know, when we don't understand stuff, we just say, oh, it's a lie, or we just, we be passive about it, or we say it's not true, or the person trying to deceive us. But most of the time, you just don't understand what was going on, and you just need a few more pieces to the puzzle before you can form your opinion, basically. Before you can form your opinion. So, I'm gonna start with the most controversial video. It's been out a few years. Everybody who watches Dane Calloway videos or Attentionist One videos or anybody videos have saw this video before, but I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. I'm gonna play it for people who haven't seen it before. And it was from a documentary. I think I can't remember who done it, BBC or somebody like that. But it is The First Americans. That's the name of it, The First Americans, I believe. But anyway, family, check it out. We're gonna go ahead and check it out. I cut it down to keep it real short because I don't want to bore nobody with no long video clips. And when I come back, we're gonna unpack that.
Archaeologists there have recently unearthed human remains. Prehistoric skulls were found buried in layers of soil 9 to 12,000 years old. They are the oldest skulls in the Americas. And this is the oldest of them all. The skull of a young woman nicknamed Lucia by scientists. Can she tell us who the first Americans were? Walter Neves is a physical anthropologist at Sao Paulo University in Brazil. He has been using a standard and reliable archaeological measure, the shape of the skull, to find out what race she belonged to.
91.
He fully expected Lucia to be a Mongoloid, an ancestor of the American Indians.
91.
But then he fed the measurements into the computer.
When we start running the computer and seeing the results, it was amazing because we realized that the statistics, the quantitative analysis we were doing was not showing just people to be Mongoloid. In fact, the analysis was showing just people as anything except Mongoloid.
So who was Lucia? And where did she come from? The cast was then given to Richard Neve of the University of Manchester in England, one of the world's leading forensic artists, to recreate her features.
That to me is a Negroid face that has all the features you associate with a Negroid face. The proportions of the face, it doesn't say anything about it being Mongoloid.
Luthia belonged to a race found historically along the rim of the Indian Ocean, in East Africa, the islands of South Asia, and in Australia and Melanesia. Was this then the face of first American?
Was it, fam? Could it be the face of the first American?